Avian flu, also known as the H5N1 virus, has been spreading across the country since it was first spotted in southern Ontario last month. To speak about how farmers are responding, I'm now joined by Lisa Bishop-Spencer. She is a Director of Brand and Communications of Chicken Farmers of Canada. She joins us now from Ottawa. Lisa, good afternoon and thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So cases of the H5N1 virus have been found in several provinces across the country. I believe at least 7 of them so far. How severe is the situation this time around than previous outbreaks?
Well, avian influenza is something that we look for every year. It's something that we hear about a lot right now, but every year it's something that our farmers have to deal with. So this year, the strain of avian influenza that seems to be going across the country is very virulent. We're seeing strong effects both in wild birds as well as in poultry farms. So we're trying to make sure that we do everything we can to mitigate that situation.
Like you pointed out, we are hearing that this new strain of the virus is more contagious, spreading more rapidly amongst birds. But is it more deadly in any way? What do we know about it?
It's not more deadly in any way, but certainly it is more contagious among those birds. So what we're seeing, usually wild birds can carry the virus in a low pathogenic form and not get sick. But what we're seeing now is that the disease is virulent both in wild birds as well as in domestic poultry.
So a farm in Quebec, unfortunately, and these are alarming numbers, had to cull close to 200,000 birds, destroy 400,000 eggs. What should be done to prevent the flu from spreading further amongst animals?
Effectively, the objective in all avian influenza cases when they get into commercial poultry is if it's in, keep it in, and if it's out, keep it out. One of the best ways to mitigate any sort of spread is, unfortunately, to cull the flocks. But what that does, it allows us to ensure that the rest of the production in the rest of the country or in the rest of the province or even in the rest of the region where that's being impacted through the index farm is well managed.
So one would imagine that the virus comes back to the country every year is probably because of the migratory birds. And of course, that is something that we have to be extremely careful about. So what is being done on that front?
On the migratory bird fronts, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of that information, but I can tell you that farmers work very hard to ensure that they mitigate the risk coming onto of the virus coming onto their farms. One of the things that they do is they do constant surveillance of their birds. If they're near an infected premise, they'll go as far as to, of course, limit access to their farms to anybody, and they'll do things like wash down the tires and wheel wells of any vehicle that comes onto the property, and then again as it goes off. And those kinds of measures are things that the farmers do to try to mitigate the spread as much as possible.
Right. Lisa, what are the symptoms? When do you know that, okay, this flock is getting infected because of this virus?
Well, farmers are, very knowledgeable about what happens in their farms. And a part of their on-farm food safety programs means that they have to walk their barns several times a day. So they'll know. And usually what will happen is they'll notice that their birds are quite ill or that they have a higher mortality rate in the barn than they would normally. As soon as they know that, they'll pick up the phone, they'll call their veterinarian, and their veterinarian will bring it in. If it's suspected to be avian influenza, this is a reportable disease both nationally and provincially in every province. So we have to make sure that we report that, and then that's when the CFIA will come in and take that sample. If that sample proves positive, then we know that the CFIA will come in and help us manage that situation.
And now we know that the virus is not a threat to humans, is what we understand, but some are, beginning to wonder a bit about the consumption of chicken and eggs. What would you say?
I would say there's absolutely no concern. The Public Health Agency of Canada, Health Canada, CFIA have all indicated that the consumption of poultry and eggs is not impacted by this virus. First of all, the temperature required to kill avian influenza is lower than the temperature required to kill salmonella. So if you're cooking your chicken and eggs the normal way, this is not going to be an issue. Beyond that, what we do know is that safe preparation of poultry is fine and the supply is fine as well.
All right, we leave it at that. Important information. Lisa Bishop-Spencer is the Director of Brand and Communications of Chicken Farmers of Canada. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.